a great pleasure to be here. I'm going to read some poems from the book, No Recipe, which I have with me, and some new poems. I'll start with a poem called Camper. About 10 years ago, my wife and I sold our restaurant and our business in Moycullen in County Galway, and we bought a camper van and we went away for a year. This was the first poem I wrote on that trip, called Camper. 3 weeks on the road, blunted edges sharpen into angles. Horizons exhibit what they used to hide. Finally, I see the point. Somewhere beyond routine, I find a stranger, reputed but unknown, traits consistent with my own. He carries the smell of oceans, an unrespectable beard, speckled with the salt of years blown in on opinionated winds. Hampered by honesty, the new view, he writes cryptic postcards to friends. Found the sun, not coming back. Mosquitoes only bite if provoked. At sea and drifting indefinitely. That's a short poem, and it's... the next one is about leaving a beloved place. We lived in a lovely old house in Moycullen in County Galway for about 20 years. It was a home and a family business, and very, very dear to me. And this poem is called Leaving Drimcong. It's about leaving that old place. And it could really apply to leaving any beloved place. Leaving Drimcong. The empty house is full of heaviness, waiting in the hall, lingering on windowsills, framed in paling spaces where once pictures hung. Unlit in fireplaces, it huddles in cold corners underneath the stairs where spiders weave complexities in pairs. Floorboards stretch and groan, tearing at constraints. Glass regards itself in endless introspection. Lintels long for passage. Lamps and their compounded parts dissemble. Suddenly a door bangs. Dawn opens up like a wound, dripping new light. Through the morning mist, the collie leads me on a walk past persistent nettles, sorrel sharp, astringent, bog mint aromatic. We surf the meadow sweet, climb over narrow dash, rooted in stone. Sycamore's expansiveness is our hiding place. From here, we saw the fox steal twilight once, loping with it into the dark. Commotion at the lake, fuss among the reeds, moorhens scatter on famille, a fair wind behind them. I have no recipe for leaving a beloved place. It is discovery, alchemy, performed with one's own basket of mystery ingredients. Recipes are red herrings, knacks and lures. Cooking is complex, rules and ritual, unstable raw material, control of heat, reduction and refinement, residue of hope. All things remain unfinished. Dreams migrate like swallows, traversing continents, trusting in transit in what is half remembered and what is left unseen. That could be about my father, but it isn't. But I would have to credit it with some influence. I come from a place called Drumcong in West Limerick, not far from Kilmeedy. and only much bigger and more important. My father and mother had a shop, an emporium there for many years, and this poem called Coleman Costello is based on that place and the characters who ran shops around there. As I say, it's called Coleman Costello. He had a grand emporium below in town. On fine, soft days he'd sit outside. God increase you, 'tis a powerful day, he touted earnestly until he died. On Saturdays, when farmers' women came, he measured cloth and character just so. Precognition told him who had need of blankets, boots, and who the dicky bug. Summer's sale each autumn was a monster, the subject of past pamphlets after Mass. Coleman Costello's the only house for credited provisions, ironmongery and gas. Coleman cherished status in the town. Although he was not prominent at prayers, he kept in stock a line in finest linen, discerning clergy valued through the years. Surplices the priests paraded in, antimacassars in the presbytery were public signs, the public needed signs of his investment in eternity. October, when old time returned again, the shop was shut and Coleman disappeared. Conjecture was precise and plentiful until he reappeared. Some said he'd gone to knock. Others knew a hideaway companion. He never told a soul about the whiskey and the ladies down in Ballymun. This is probably a more sophisticated poem. It's called Cocktail Party. We didn't have cocktail parties at Drumcong when I was growing up. 7 for 8, the invite said. We arrive at 7:15 with starched shirts, silk ties, and our cocktail sticks of wives. So nice, indeed, and really, for minutes we parry and thrust, smile thin, toothpastey, see-through smiles at women whose eyes speak to ours, at men who are bored by it all, still come along for the booze. Locks slag, sweat beads tingle on brows, and men of the world become boys, mere toys in the eyes of mesdames, high on high fashionable intrigue, base, vicious, understandable. We stand verbose in smoke-ringed groups, balding men letting our hair down, eavesdropping avidly and hearing nothing but the heady buzzing as sense takes off into the night. This is a poem about my mother-in-law. It's called Alzheimer's. She was a remarkable woman, very able and full of life, and she ended up far from what she was. And this is kind of a record of her last days. This is not childhood revisited. Quizzes twist your face into a blob, the density of dough, tight, intense, eyes whirlpool and attuned to nonsense. I look at you and feel you ferment gibberish in all directions. Then, as you tumbril down the avenue, in practiced unison we wave. Goodbye today is almost all we have. Your head is an old people's home. Demolition crew is in. Windows shatter, doors agape. Collapsing walls disturb old dust. Make room for Babel's bedside chat, telling memory a thing or two. Unravelled tapes make music still. You disintegrate to Mozart, Liszt, over and over again, your favourite pieces scatter. All matters now are love's remains. You have gone to wherever you are, leaving a body in the bed, thin limbs, scaffolding remnants. Slack mouth sucks long drafts, fuel for descents that stay a long time down. We gather round an audience to your long-running one-woman show winding slowly down. Silently we urge you on, sing, sing again for us, sing another verse of your swan song. I go to the Adriatic coast of Croatia every year, and I have a small collection of poems called Dalmatian poems that have to do with that area, and there's one that I like to read. It's called Leaving Dubrovnik, and it's about leaving anywhere that you have had a good time in. Like I think most people experience being on holiday and not wanting to go home. This is about that kind of state of mind, leaving Dubrovnik. We discover a departure that won't let go, dawdling on the quayside, dangling on the rods of boys and fathers fishing, cats in the background, cautious. Near a pool by the ramparts, where swallows fashion nests in holes the gunfire made, a Chinese girl takes pictures. Milan and Jozo Ovic showing off their consonants, making a splash. We sit distracted in a cafe, our repetitive espressos drained of the sweetest dregs. A swim, someone suggests, a sentimental swim. There, yes, just there, where the late afternoon sun, a silver sword, cuts the harbour in two. Currents ebb under the skin, a subtly shifting adrenaline, blood tide going out. Soon we will be home, supine in the aftermath's collapse. Twitches in sleep are the last bends of the journey, departure finding itself. We lie in wait for dawn's thinly glimmering contempt, the cold comfort of sulking sunlight, infallible rain.